Korean husband.
Hi, I'm Nicola.
Hi, I'm Hugh.
And we're from the My Korean Husband blog, and today's video is a little bit more serious. Yes, are you ready to be serious? Look
No.
at that face. Okay, so today's topic is about K-pop, K-dramas, and reality. Okay, so on our blog, we make a point of trying to be positive, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what was one of the reasons why we started the blog?
Because when we Googled about Korean husband,
Yeah.
it was all negative
Yeah.
stuff.
So that was a few years back, and so when you were typing something about Korean husband, it was really negative stuff.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons that prompted us to start making comics and videos and that type of thing. I think things have changed a little bit since then.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot more positive
Definitely.
stuff, but there's also some problems that come with that as well. So this video is not about being negative, it's just about being realistic. So K-dramas and K-pop and everything's quite popular internationally now, right? So unfortunately, this idea of Korea being this wonderful, magical place of all the handsome guys and the K-pop, that actually gets spread around a lot. Do you see that online?
Yes.
Yeah, how does that make you feel when you see that?
That's not true.
So there's a lot of like memes and like photos and stuff that get spread around, like, you know, perfect guys in Korea, or this is in K-drama, so Korea must be like that. I can't wait to go to Korea and my destination is Korea and all this type of stuff. And it's spread by like big sites, like sites that have all the dramas on them, or big sites about K-pop and that. I see that on their Twitter and their Facebook, and they're promoting this idea.
Which is good for Korean tourism organization.
It's not good for the long-term view of Korea though,
It's
is
not
it?
because people will disappoint.
That's exactly right, and that's what this video is about. So the problem with this is the exaggeration of it, and I think a lot of young people get caught up in it because they don't know any better, and if they're only looking at these type of sites and they're only looking at K-pop and they're only looking at Korean dramas, then I think it's really easy to think that this is an accurate representation of Korea. So people come to Korea and disappointed, but Korea actually is a really great country.
It
There's
is.
lots of really good things in Korea. I really enjoy living in Korea. There's so many good things about it, but it's a shame when people have this wrong idea and then are horribly disappointed.
Yeah, if you want to know more about Korea, just read some history
Mhm.
and some news about Korea.
Yeah.
Not only dramas. Dramas is always not realistic, you know.
Yes.
It's more fake things.
It's fantasy.
It's fantasy.
Yeah.
It's not like real. So if you want to know more real Korea, just read more historical stuff and watch
Cultural
some,
stuff,
yeah,
and
cultural
all that
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, not only dramas.
Okay, you just made an excellent point about Korea's history. So a lot of people might not actually know about Korea's history, but it's so important to know this because in the past 40 years or so, Korea was a developing country,
Yeah.
and then has become a developed first world country. And this is a huge, huge change. Like, South Korea was poorer than North Korea at some point.
We were, yeah.
Yeah, and now you're this developed country, and it's so different, but because it happened so quickly, there's still a lot of things that haven't caught up. So someone might come to Korea and be quite surprised at something, but the reason is because Korea's had such rapid changes, and not everything can change that quickly.
Yeah, that's what we need proud of ourselves. But the other thing is too quickly it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Because other people say, yeah, Korea is first world country, but lots of Korean people don't
You
think
don't
we
feel
are.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think there's such a big difference between cities and the countryside and that
Yeah.
type of thing. Yeah.
And so many things, like maybe economically we are like first world country, but so many small things.
Small things that you'll start to see when you're in Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's huge generational differences as well, because your parents and your grandparents grew up in poverty.
Yeah.
You know, and now the younger generation is so much wealthier and all this stuff. And so you'll see these huge attitude differences and the way they see the world. Korea is not just all young, beautiful
No.
people like in K-pop or K-dramas. There's a lot of older people here and they have different views to the younger generation. Okay, some people might be wondering, why do Korean dramas give such a narrow view of Korea? Then if Korea is not really like in the dramas, why is it showing it like that? Well, the thing is, people are not in Korea. They're not watching Korean dramas 24/7. There's so much other stuff on TV, and there's so much reality on Korean TV. So you'll go from watching a drama that's about the rich chaebol, and you know, the poor girl and all that type of stuff. And then you'll watch on the same channel, you'll go and you'll watch a documentary style show that's showing a very normal small Korean house and what their lives are like, and it's nothing like a Korean drama. But that's the reality on TV. So if you're in Korea and you're consuming a lot of TV, then you see the difference, and you'll also see how much poverty there can be in Korea as well, because they show a lot of that on TV. They're very invested in people's real stories, and there's so much of that on TV.
Because you guys watch what you guys want to watch online.
Yeah.
But in Korea, if we turn the TV on, everything is there. We have so many channels, and we have so many broadcasting,
everything.
Korean cables and cable TV. So many different things, and we like human documentary that more realistic. For the documentary, they showing the real life.
A lot more than Western countries. I think there's a lot more reality on Korean TV because and we've experienced it ourselves when they come with cameras. There's no setting up the house. They just film exactly what happens like that.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Korean men? Oh, you're a Korean man. Okay, so people might be wondering, is Korea filled with young, handsome Korean men? There's definitely a lot of them. There's a lot of really handsome guys.
Yeah.
The thing is, Korean men are more well-groomed than maybe in a lot of other countries, like especially Western countries, if I compare to Australian guys. Korean guys take care of themselves a lot more. So they have a better appearance. But that doesn't mean that you're going to come to Korea and be swept off your feet by somebody that's like the hero in a Korean drama. It doesn't happen like that. So I've heard a lot of stuff from friends, how they know people girls that come to Korea, and they have this idea of getting a Korean guy like that. And so they go around to all the clubs, and of course they attract attention from Korean guys. And then they get upset when this guy doesn't message them back or is not interested in a long-term relationship, because they just immediately wanting a long-term relationship. These Korean guys that's their normal life. They're going out to clubs on a Saturday night. They're not necessarily looking for that. And so there's this big difference in expectations that can cause a lot of really difficult situations. And I think my advice for that is, like, if you're young in your 20s, if you're in your own country and you're going out to clubs, you shouldn't be looking for a lifelong partner there. This is not where it usually happens. So don't put that idea onto Korean guys that are just going out to clubs and looking for flings and, you know, that type of thing. Like, why are you so upset that this guy is not replying to you? You know, you're in your early 20s, a guy in your own country might not be replying to you as well. Don't twist it to be this negative thing about Korean guys.
I think that's the problem, that some girls, they just date Korean guy because they are Korean, not because their personality or the other stuff.
Yeah, and how hard for these guys, they've got to live up to some fantasy from the Korean dramas. Like, they're supposed to be like this because somebody's watched too many Korean dramas. Like, that's a lot of pressure. Something that might be quite shocking for white women is at some point, like most likely, they'll have an older, possibly drunk guy come up to them and ask Russian saram. And what does that mean?
Are you Russian?
And are you Russian is also sort of code for are you a prostitute? So simply because you're a white woman, you might have this assumption made about you by older men. Now, this is because for these older men, Korea wasn't really opened up to the West.
No, not really.
And so the only white women they would see were literally Russian prostitutes that came down from Russia to earn their living as prostitutes in Korea. So for these older men, their only association with white women is that prostitutes, when they would go to a brothel and they would see a white woman there. And of course it's very confronting and rude, and, you know, really they shouldn't be saying that because there's so many white women who are not prostitutes in Korea now. But if you have a little bit of that history to it, it's easier to just sort of brush it off and ignore it rather than getting worked up about it every time that happens.
Yes, because some Russian girls used to come to Korea for working in that kind of place. So people assume that they are English teacher or prostitute. But sometimes, like when all the guys asking, "Are you Russian?" which means usually,
they're asking you, are you a prostitute?
Yeah, it doesn't mean like Russian people are that kind of image in Korea, but when all the people ask, young white girl,
that's what they
are
mean.
you Russian? Means
which is it's really negative for just normal Russian women. Like that's a really negative thing for them. And that's the big generational difference. Like young guys are not going around asking that. They know better. They're educated. But you have this older generation where the differences are so big.
Yeah.
So personally, I think a lot of these drama sites or K-pop sites need to be more responsible when they're promoting Korea and when they're talking about Korea. I think if people have a more balanced view of Korea, then when they come, they're much more likely to have a good time. And that's why a lot of English teachers have such a good time here, is because they came with no expectation. And they come and they go, oh, Korea's actually a pretty cool place to live, and they really enjoy their time. It's just really unfortunate when people come away with a negative impression of Korea because their hopes were like so high. We've got more to say about girls that sort of seek relationships with Korean guys and a lot of the problems that we're seeing in the past few years about that, but we're going to save that for another video. And in another video, we're also going to go through and address a lot of things you see in Korean dramas. Some are realistic and some aren't. So in another video, we're going to go through and we're going to answer all those questions.
Thank you for watching our video.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And you can check out the comics on the blog and Line Webtoon. And we'll see you later. Bye.